Hello and welcome to the YouTubes. Today we have show. Show is very good show you will like a lot, and on it is guys, and they talk in
In
5D.
5D.
I like that it was like disappointing, but still decent character work. That's what I was going for.
Well, I was kind of surprised. I thought you were gonna push our mascot there, like, oh, and by the way, Communist Bear is
And
best
Communist Bear is clearly best bear.
Clearly.
No, I went for like sad and alone.
Oh, so not Russian, more like Latvian.
Sure. Where's
I'm
Lucian
thinking more
from?
Swedish, but you know.
Not Latvia.
Yeah, no, he's Romanian. Let's just call it that because I don't know what that actually sounds like.
Uh,
Oh wait, no, that's very like
I was like-
Transylvania
I was gonna say
Dracula.
if media has taught me anything, it's one
Yeah.
two
Can I know it's wrong and I know it's insensitive, but can I make the personal choice to choose to live in a world where everybody in Romania sounds like the Count?
Yeah, I guess it can.
Like, I
mean-
don't want that to like become a thing. I just want it to
Like-
be known that I'm going to choose to believe that.
Yeah, there's
to
gonna be
fair,
like some guy in Romania that actually talks like that. Is like, why does everyone have to sound like me?
Why all these people on television do impression of me?
Well,
He
well,
laughs like
to be
that too.
fair,
That's this guy.
there's plenty of people who think all of the folks in Mexico are brown like me, and they're severely wrong.
I love how surprised people still get when they meet like a white-skinned Mexican dude.
Yeah,
Because
dude.
it's so common. It's not even
Yeah.
like, oh, that only happens sometime.
Well,
No, that happens all
like,
the time.
You've met my mother, right? She's light
Oh
skinned.
yeah.
Yeah, totally, completely different. I'm hella brown. My mother's light skinned.
Yeah, he doesn't look like his mom too much. You and your brother, neither of you.
My brother
No,
used
no.
to when he was younger.
Now that I've met your dad,
Spent too much time in the oven.
now that I've finally met Eduardo's dad, y'all don't look anything like either of your parents.
Really?
I'm sure
hold
you guys
on.
aren't like totally
So,
adopted.
Here's
maybe
what's
it's
really
baby?
fucked up. No. So here's what's really fucked up. If you look at pictures of my dad when he was a kid and us when we were kids, spot on. My dad had an accident. We got caught under a truck and dragged for a while, and
Oh!
it wrecked his face. So
is that
Okay.
why you look different?
so
That
now
just totally explains everything.
yeah. So unfortunately, like his
Oh, man.
his cheeks are lower because it like detached something. And
Hey,
this
what it
was
looks like at my dad because he's horribly disfigured.
no, he's
No,
not.
the other thing is Eduardo's dad is probably like a little older than my dad is, though you're also older than me. But I mean, like that difference.
Yeah.
I think your dad was older than my dad when he had you, and your dad just kind of doesn't take care of himself very well.
Well, to be fair,
So
my dad is in his 60s now.
right, so your parents are kind of like my wife's parents. Your dad's
Well,
old.
no, my dad's 12 years older than my mother.
Oh fuck, it's that far.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so that's why she's always looked much better than my
Well,
father.
that and your mom generally takes care of herself.
yeah.
Your dad.
Well, you also got to remember homie's had a rough life. Like my,
No, I'm not saying it's
no.
you know,
I'm just saying it's
he
not
doesn't.
necessarily that it's not necessarily that he doesn't take care of himself. It's that like the dude like rough like dude spent some time in a Mexican prison and that really like
But
aged
you
him.
don't get to Mexican prison by taking care of yourself, or I guess maybe taking care of himself too much.
Yeah, no, I was about to say when you when you only take care of yourself and you don't take care of the laws.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, no.
But yeah, so if anybody ever sees like a family photo of Eduardo and you're thinking maybe he's adopted,
Wait,
no,
hold on.
he just does
Hold
not
on.
really look
If
like
y'all motherfuckers find a family photo, y'all need to give it
That's
to me because I don't have one.
he doesn't have that.
I don't have a photo of all of us together.
Hey, actually, to be fair, I don't have a picture of my whole family together, but that's just because two sides of them don't speak to each other.
Well,
I have that. I have a family picture.
yay, look at you.
Again, raised
Oh.
Mormon. Y'all motherfuckers are
Five of
too
those.
close. There are probably people in your family photo who aren't technically family.
No, it's my immediate family. It was my mom, my dad, and my brothers and sisters and myself.
Oh, fair enough. Was there an animal in it?
Nope,
No pet even?
no pet.
Matching sweaters?
No, but we all had sweaters on. They weren't matching by any means.
Was it planned to have all sweaters on, or was it just taken when it was like cold?
No, it was like well, I guess it was kind of cool, but it was also like, put your fucking nice sweater on.
Okay, so okay, yeah, it's a pretty white photo.
Yeah, it was super white.
Me and my brother have. Okay, you want to hear the whitest one ever? And I'm not at all ashamed to admit this because it was like 1992, and I was like 7.
Well, I mean,
I don't
that's
know
like
how
how
old
mine was, but I was
I'm not
2.
doing them. So no, I got whiter. I got whiter. Me and my brother have karate photos. So us in like karate poses with our faces behind it, like photoshopped in, and rat tails.
Oh my god.
Yeah, little blonde white kids with rat tails,
Wow.
and karate photos with our own faces behind it. It like, if we were chewing skull, that is the only way it could get rid of it.
No. Instead of your faces in the background, your dog's faces in the background.
We weren't allowed to have dogs when we were that
Or
young. I
cats,
had dogs
whatever
on
the
school.
fuck.
We could have cats.
Yeah. So there you go. That'd be even more American.
Like,
fuck.
Mergan.
why isn't that like one of our like covers somewhere? Like,
Because though the photos exist, I do not personally have them. Unfortunately, my mother controls those.
Well, and also to be fair, we've done some recreations of white photos. There's a really creepy one with Santa out there with Devin and I and an old coworker. Like,
We panicked for a white elephant at work, and we were like, "Oh shit, what do
So,
we?" It's like today
it
in like
was-
an hour.
it was one of those weird things where we got invited, but we were never told we were invited. We just got added to a calendar invite. And
Right.
it was another department that we kind of sort of fell under their party. And it was like, oh yeah, we have to leave for this party in like 2 hours. And we're like, what are we going to do? So we're like, all right, well, I guess, how about we just kind of pull it together? And we went to the mall and we're like, all right, we'll buy some like decent picture frames and we'll just take a picture with Santa and put our photo in there.
So the intent was like, here's some nice holiday picture frames. The photo is a joke.
right?
Total
That's
joke.
the premise.
Yeah, and so we get there and Santa's already looking at us a little weird, which is
For these
fine.
three grown guys in here,
Which
this
is
is
fine.
fuck.
Which is fine. But dude, Santa was dirty.
Santa was straight dirty.
Like, he was making comments about his elves, which I can't 100% guarantee they were of age. Just gonna put that out there.
And he showed us what's inside. Like, you know, Santa's always got the little book. He's got an iPad in there so he can surf the internet while he's fucking. And, like, imagine what mall Santa's looking at.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, anyways, we take that photo and we got, I believe it could be switched, but I believe it was Devin on the right, coworker on the left, and I was kneeling up front. Santa
I think I
puts
can
his
go get it.
hands
I'm pretty sure it's in my room right
on
now.
my shoulder. Santa puts his hands on my shoulder.
Oh, it's even better.
It was awkward as shit. Hold on.
So we get to the white
I
elephant.
kind of wanted you to sit on his lap, honestly, because that just would have been even more awkward.
He wasn't that big of a Santa. We would be way too like we probably.
No, just Eduardo sitting on
Oh
his
yeah, Eduardo's tiny.
like you guys are his
No.
parents or something, right?
I'm not that tiny. I'm not fucking.
It would have
I'm
been
not-
perfect.
I'm not a 3-year-old, you pieces of shit.
So we get to the white elephant, right? And we're not really sure what to expect out of this group, but a few of them got tanked, and then like the other ones responsibly really had like one drink. And then
Yeah.
once people realized, you know, like the white elephant, you go up, you grab it, you open it, and everybody sees what it is. The most fought about gift were the 3 pictures of IT with Santa Claus, and nobody gave 2 fucks about those picture frames.
And one of
were
them was even fancy. It lit up and sang Christmas songs.
Yeah, no fucks. They wanted the pictures of IT, and one of the HR girls got a little drunk and was like ready to cut a bitch for
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the IT pictures.
Because you know how White Elephant works? Like, you take one and then...
Yeah.
And then
I do, but explain for the audience anyway.
Someone else do that. Point is, no. So the way that it works is you get all kinds of gifts and you can steal them. The next person can either open a new gift or steal an existing gift.
But it can only be stolen 3 times.
It depends on what
you set
what
the number, but
yeah, you set the number ahead of time. So they kept getting stolen, like ridiculously. Like 2 of them got out of play within the next 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah.
And there was one that, like, that girl was mad because they had stolen it, and she got lucky, and one of the last presents available was that, and she went home with it. Like,
she was like hugging this picture.
yeah. No, some serious shit, yo. Some serious shit.
She was fun.
But anyways, that mall Santa was pretty creepy.
Yeah, Mall Santa was creepy. Don't let your kid do that. Same with the guy in the Easter Bunny suit. You know he's jerked off in it. Don't take your kids to that.
Well, and if he hasn't, imagine how many people have worn that fucking costume.
Even so, there's only 2 kinds of people getting that job. It's some kid who just needs money and doesn't give a fuck about your child. Or it's a creepy guy. There's probably only 10 guys in the whole of the United States who are legitimately in it because they just want to bring joy to the children. There's like 10 of those dudes. All other mall Easter bunnies, creepy perverts, and negligent teenagers.
Yeah, that's true. I once thought it'd be a good idea to be a mall Santa, but then I realized that,
you were going to be Brown Mall Santa.
Well, not even that.
You also can't be Mall Santa when a few of the kids are bigger than you are.
That was exactly it. That was exactly it. So it wasn't really Mall Santa, but there was an event for my mom's work where they were short of Mall Santa, and they actually had a lady. She was great. She was hilarious. Her name was Bertha. Not even joking. This lady had shoulders just as wide as me, but she was at least 2 feet taller. She played Santa.
You do what you gotta do, but yeah, I can see, like, sit on my lap, little boy. Yo, Santa, I want this present. Like, super. I had those kids at my school who, like, in 6th grade, they were already, like, 6 feet tall. Like, nobody was held back. Like, some folks just hit that shit early, and they're like, whoa, I'm a baby. Like, oh, God.
That was me.
Like, those kids just fucking exist,
I was
man.
a baby Huey. I was giant. Fucking like, what do? I'm so awkward with myself.
And he never grew out of it. And Eduardo, what are we talking about this week? Now that
actually, there is something. Before we get into the new stuff, I want to finish this off so we can put a nail in its goddamn coffin.
All right, finish Klops off. You know he's waiting for it.
Yeah, all right. Actually, this is a Klops thing. Klops, you finally finished the goddamn season. Tell us about it. The Umbrella Academy.
Oh, I was gonna be like, yeah, season Siege did finish. So like,
nobody cares about that.
I do.
Nobody cares about you.
I did terrible in it, by the way. I ended up just getting silver, not gold.
It was not good.
Kind of sad about that, but I mean, whatever. So yeah, I finished the Umbrella Academy. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun ride from start to finish.
But
no, there's no but.
Okay.
Except for I fell asleep at the last like 5 minutes, so I had to get the description of what happened at the last moment by my girlfriend, which I'm just like, I don't need to go see that. I understand what happened.
We good.
And I gotta say, I remember you saying you had a problem with Rumor's character, and I'm not sure if I feel the same way about her than you did, Devin. I actually really liked her character for the most part. I liked how that she was always conflicted and never wanted to use her power.
My bigger issue is the story kind of reinforces her not using her power. Every time she does, something shitty happens, and then I'm going to give a spoiler, so cover baby ears, but we all 3 have seen it. If you care, whatever. Before, like, she really gets to use it in any more meaningful way without getting punished, she can't use her power anymore. So she never really gets this chance to see that the choice is really hers, and as long as she's responsible, or like, it almost seems like the greater force is going, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's damaged. They don't know if she can use her powers or not.
She can't speak. They said she can't
right
talk.
Now, yeah, they said that they cut a lot of her vocal cords, but she should be able to speak again. They're not sure if they can use her powers. They mentioned that. Only time will tell.
Yeah. No, I caught that. I honestly, I had more of an issue with her characterization, right? Like, she was placed to be like one of the powerhouses because only like two of them are really, really powerful. Like, unless yes, without
the dead kid.
Yeah.
Well, so from what I've been doing a little more research on the like comic book itself and the stuff and everything that happens to it. Yeah, it's not about the fact if it's good or not. It's the fact of like I'm more interested in the characters and like how they varied and differed in the series compared to the comic. And actually, Klaus is one of the more powerful ones in the like Umbrella Academy, because not only can he talk to the dead, he can summon them. As a matter of fact, that whole spoiler, right? If you don't want spoilers
for the comic,
fuck off for a while. Right? No, for both. Fuck off now.
Okay.
He does do it once in the show.
That whole last fight with Viola, he summons an orchestra of dead people to drown out the music that she's playing that's going to basically bring the moon down in the comic. Yeah. And he doesn't do any of that in the show. Like, there's none of that in the show. Like, they really underplayed him as far as visuals and stuff go in the show, and they kind of hint that he has more powers.
Well, actually, but instead, he summons his brother.
Well, yes, but that's something he could already do. That's what he was doing in the comic, like way early on, and he did that even if he was intoxicated. Like,
right.
There was no intoxication issue like there was in the show. But like, he does a lot of stuff. He can not only can he summon him so that he can use Ben through him, but like he could do that with any dead person.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of other shit he could do. Like it's hinted at that he's really, really powerful. And I can't wait to see more of it in the show.
They downplayed Space Boy's strength in the show.
They did, but also Space Boy, like that wasn't how he gained his powers. He had his head transplanted onto a Mars ape or something like that.
So I actually thought that for the ape boy, I thought it was really weird because depending on the scene is how strong he was.
Yeah.
I thought that I didn't
like there's no way Kraken would not just fly away with every punch he flew.
Yeah, it was just inconsistent and yeah. But no, so I still liked it, right? Like, I'm not complaining, but I will say that the characterization of Rumor was probably my least favorite.
Yeah, I feel like where everybody else really, they could use their powers, they could not use their powers. It didn't seem like there was anything to it. Hers always bit her in the ass. It just seemed like even the writer was like, stop. You know what I mean? It just seemed like she was kind of shit on.
Well, yeah. She might have been. Definitely,
It was all punishment.
And it's also it's a kind of world-breaking power too, so I understand what they were going for. But like, dude, if you're not gonna let her fucking do it, then maybe tweak her power a little bit.
Right. You adjusted everybody else's power.
Yeah.
Why just mute her? Though it is what happens in the comic, and it's actually one of my problems in the comic as well, is it's not the actress's fault. I don't like this character. I just don't like how they run this character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, this is the first thing I've seen this actress in. So at first...
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with the actress for me.
Yeah, at first, Steph and I were actually having that conversation, like I'm not sure if I don't like this actress, or maybe I just don't like... the character, but it didn't fit, and I don't know. It was just okay.
Yeah,
her character.
She's the low part. Her character is the low part, but that's easily fixed in a season 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring it back around, do some fun stuff with it. It's very easily remedied because again, it's not the actress. She's not like blowing it. She's doing what she can. I just don't like the portrayal of the character.
Well, I'm really interested in what they're going to do with the season 2 because they ran a bunch of different story arcs together in this. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, they ran basically books 1 and 2, but honestly what a lot of these shows are doing nowadays is they're just running past the books. Game of Thrones is past the books that oh god, I don't watch it, but my wife does. They're all like nun ladies and they're have to have babies for people. I don't know, it's a fucking Hulu show.
I know the one you're talking about. I don't
Oh, yeah, The Handmaid's Tale.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, they finished the whole book in season. Same with Altered Carbon on Netflix. They finished the whole book in season 1.
Well,
Yeah.
You know what needs a fucking show? Like, we already did the book, but it would just make a good show. Where the fuck is a Starship Troopers show? You'd watch that.
Well,
You
they,
would-
they had one.
Rico's Roughnecks that happened.
No, do it now and do it live action. Though Roughnecks was dope. I'm not taking away from Roughnecks.
The problem with that one is that it's hard, and the political climate does not.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems with
Yeah.
like our political climate, and that's
You
gonna.
cannot do a political version of it. Just focus on.
It was all fascist
was-
propaganda
yeah.
to make fun of it. Like that's the
But
problem.
that, you're going past the book. You're doing a
But-
different story.
But that doesn't matter. The universe is still set as a fascist regime, and therefore it's going to have
So-
issues. Just modern day and times where fascism.
I don't
is like
know.
A big thing.
I feel like it. I disagree that it shows a fascist regime. Because there's a lot of points. It was satire of a lot of those kinds of things. But if you look, I do feel like the point was missed. But I still think it would not fly nowadays.
Okay, wait. You're telling me that like live action Roughnecks would not work?
Look, I'm
Literally
not
just do
saying
that.
I wouldn't love it. I would love it. I got the fact that it was a fucking satire movie about fascism.
Oh yeah,
All right, I caught that at like 8.
sort
All
of.
right,
I can
knew it.
see little clubs in his
All right.
morbid house like, do you guys know the repercussions of military fascism and its effect on humanity as a whole?
but that's not how it happened in theaters or in the box office or with everybody else. And bringing it back now in these kind of like stupid fucking political climates that we're dealing with, I don't think it's the right time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would not fly.
I'm gonna
Maybe
do it.
after.
Guys,
Maybe-
I'm gonna do it.
Maybe after.
I'm gonna do it.
All right, I'll throw in with you. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
Well, you know I'm in. I'm usually in. But anyways, so Umbrella Academy finally finished it. Give it a
Give me
rating.
a rating.
Give it a rating. I'd probably give it a 4 pogos out of 5 pogos. It was pretty good.
Was Pogo good?
I liked Pogo as a character, little monkey guy.
Oh,
No.
it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never mind. Whoosh. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the big thing that we kind of talked about last week, and I'm the piece of shit on this one. I did not get a chance to go see it, but tell me both of you guys saw Captain Marvel.
Nope,
did.
I'm broke.
Okay, well, looks like it's all you, Devin. Woo!
My favorite kind of thing to do. All me.
I mean, we can just talk about it next week because I'm gonna go see it this weekend.
But I already saw it.
Yeah, so you're gonna talk about it again next week when I talk about it.
We do everything
Yeah,
over 2
That's
weeks.
true. We
We
do.
literally just did this.
This is my chance to opt out of that, buddy.
No, sorry.
All right, go for it.
This already isn't gonna post for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it's not breaking news per se.
Right.
So-
Captain Marvel. Okay, hold on. Eduardo, I feel like you hinted that you have trepidation with this film.
I did. I
Hand
hit.
me your trepidation and let me know so that I can either let you know right now, yep,
So-
your fears have come true, or honestly, no.
Here's what I was afraid of. I
Do
was
it.
afraid of that it wasn't going to be anywhere near as good as people were making it out to be, and that they were gonna, that they
That can
were.
be said for any big movie.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be just okay, and that they were unfortunately going to have to retcon shit and shoehorn shit in. That's what I was afraid of. I did hate how they presented the trailer, but God, I was hoping that that wasn't how they were going to present the whole movie.
Okay, so as far as it living up to or not living up to, I honestly I don't buy hype. I go into every movie not going like, well, everybody's excited, so this better hit this fucking bar. For me, I go into every movie like, man, I just hope I have fun. That's really what I'm after with a movie. Let's just have some fun and tell a good story, you know? It's not, I'm not saying like, I keep this low bar. I know I hate a lot of shit. I'm not saying it's a low bar. I'm just saying I don't think it's a difficult bar, and I don't come into it with these grandiose expectations. I don't expect everything to be a fucking 9 and above. I'm happy with a 6 as long as it's a fun 6. Be stupid and shitty, but at least be fun. You know what I mean? So coming into Captain Marvel, cutting all the bullshit aside, legitimately good movie. I don't think this is going to be your next favorite Marvel movie, but I do think it's easily, if you're counting, and here's my caveat to it. If we're counting Marvel first movies, only Captain America 1, Thor 1, Iron Man 1. If we're counting Marvel first movies, this is one of the strongest first movies they've done. Legitimately. Like Iron Man, Doctor Strange, probably a little better. Guardians of the Galaxy was like a weird... I can't explain why that hit as hard as it did. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Right. Like, it just fucking worked, as weird as that was. Captain Marvel's good. It's top 5. Like, it's better than Captain America 1 or Thor 1. Easily. It's better than Justice League. I liked it more than that. I don't know that it's better than Wonder Woman. I really liked Wonder Woman. I'd maybe put this same bar. But I could not go higher than same bar. And that's not to say... And that is not to say that if you like or didn't like Wonder Woman, it's going to play like that. I'm just saying as good as they were for me. So that's not me drawing a parallel. They don't feel like the same movie at all. It doesn't feel like they're hitting the same notes with it at all, which is great. Because if they did that, it would be really obvious and it wouldn't work. So they didn't. They gave it the Marvel tone, you know? Some serious parts, some funny parts, some fun parts, some intense parts. Built like a Marvel movie, you're not going to be disappointed there.
That's
or,
good.
You know, as long as that's what you're expecting. If you're sick of the Marvel formula, this ain't going to win you over. If you're already not digging Marvel, this is not going to be the one that does it for you. That was Guardians. Here's what it does have going for it in a big, strong way. And I know Eduardo's going to take this with a grain of salt. Legitimately, Brie Larson kills it. She nails it. The character is just plain fucking likable. It doesn't come off as... I was really worried they were going to aim for like the angry Captain Marvel. She was going to be serious and she was going to get shit done. Fuck your nonsense. I was kind of... because then it kind of would have played a little bit more like a Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? Right. It's lost and serious. This... she desperately just wants a personality and to connect with something. And it's not even a romantic thing. There's no romance subplot in this at all. None.
Well, that's good.
Great. It's so nice that they didn't do it because the character didn't need it. She makes a friend out of Nick Fury, and their banter just feels like she gets to bust some quips. He appreciates them, and he's going to throw some back. And she's like, I like what you did there. It works. She sells it, and so does he. Though nobody's expecting him to drop it as Nick Fury. We know he has that role. And him playing a young Nick Fury. The makeup looks great. It looks good throughout. It's solid. It's on point. He looks young throughout the film. He plays young. And what they did with Coulson. I could have used a little bit more Coulson because I'm a fan of the character. But the scenes he's in are great. It works, and it works fine. Comic fans are going to be a little mad.
Okay.
We're bending a few major comic things. I don't want to do the spoiler here. We'll talk about it next week, at least when Klopp sees it. So, Eduardo, you should really try to, but I get it if you can't. Maybe we'll find a way to... maybe between the two of us, we'll find a better way to edge in what we're talking about. But there are two big changes from the comics. Like, it's not the same thing. Kind of changes.
Okay.
Would honestly didn't bother me. I was like, that's really gonna fuck some stuff up if you ever go over this. But as long as we don't ever touch on this, I suppose it's as fine as anything. You know what I mean? It works. It works fine, and it leads to, you know, some shit you didn't see coming. Take that, comic fans. You didn't predict that. You can't. So good on you. That said, I will say this is one of those movies where acts 1 and 2 are incredibly strong. And for me, it loses out on Act 3, just because I'm not a big action scene spectacle guy. So when you really ride your actions, like Aquaman, I think I said the same thing. Just that end big fight scene, it was so muddled and confused and unnecessary. I don't like the grandiose spectacle because we've seen it so much. I'm done with it. I get it. This does dial it back some. So instead of like an end fight scene with just good old punching it out of a good guy and bad guy, it's a ship battle instead, because she's a pilot.
Right.
So it's mostly like a flying around. I'm going to say a thing, and you're going to put a picture in your mind. I'm going to guarantee you right now you're getting the wrong picture in your mind. It gets a little Star Warsy at the end, but not in any of the ways you're thinking Star Warsy. I promise you, and without spoiling it, I can't explain it, but I promise you, you're not considering what I'm trying to explain. You're not.
Okay.
I guarantee it. But it gets a little Star Warsy. I wasn't a huge fan of that. But I like how they handle their villain, and I will put it that way. The way they handle the villain through both character and closure, solid. It's good enough. It works, and it's better than a lot of what they've been turning in before. So I don't know if that gives anything away from you. Draw your conclusions that you want on that, but go into it knowing that like that's probably the better way for comic book movies to handle a villain's arc. This was much more reined in. Really well done.
Cool.
All in all, the movie is really solid. The characters are really likable. And as big and spectacle as it gets, it's also very reined in. You're not dealing with tons of like Marvel events just seem big now, right? There's always 30 characters crossing over and all this stuff happening, and these guys know those guys, and look at this big city and all these guys you'll probably no. Mm-mm. It's mostly her and Fury and a couple of other characters who are like B-level characters. You don't really get attached to more than 10 people throughout the whole movie. 10 is generous, by the way.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and count them, but 10 is a generous count for how many people you're actually supposed to give a shit about. And even beyond then, there's not a whole lot of like tertiary characters. You know, there's some punchable faces. It's a paint by numbers Marvel movie that is starting to learn some new numbers.
Okay.
That's cool.
And you know what's really weird for this film is the reviews are severely mixed.
Yeah, they're all over the place with people.
Yeah, it's so
and
weird.
I can absolutely see why. Like, I can see people getting burnt out on the paint by numbers Marvel formula, and I could not look anybody in the eye and go, "You're totally getting away from that." No, you're getting a Marvel movie. It's a Marvel movie, and it feels like a lot of the other ones. But I think the character performances turned in by Brie Larson and Samuel Jackson, and some of the bends to the comic book that are honestly, if you just shut up and get out of your fanboy way, are pretty fun.
And see, that's actually where one of the biggest split is. A lot of folks very definitely agree that Sam Jackson did a good job. But they are saying, this was what I found interesting. There was a review where you're saying that you can tell that Sam is slowing down now that he's older in his action scenes. Like, it's not as fluid as it used to be.
I would argue it's because he's just a human.
No, exactly.
Aliens.
Well, okay, sure. But
there is no point in this movie where he's fighting anybody who is not an alien.
Yeah. No. I'm not disagreeing. I just find it interesting that folks are pointing that out.
I would disagree with that call completely.
But but a lot of folks are just really into like, look, we don't hate Brie Larson. We just think she was miscast.
No, she nails it. She hits it. She hits it perfectly.
Yeah, and
likable.
And I want to believe you, but you have a blind spot for Brie Larson.
I'm not counting any of that. I'm watching the character. Her banter and the way she carries it is fun. I'm not talking about being appealing or anything. I'm just like, it's fun. And the audience in the theater I was in, they were laughing. They were loving it. You know, I didn't hear anybody who was in the theater audibly like going like, ugh. And believe me, I'm in the area where people audibly do shit like that. What I did have was a 13-year-old, well, I don't know, maybe she was 45, because in Portland sometimes it's hard to tell with the way some of these people dress, but it looked like a 13 to 45-year-old lady who was forcing the loudest cackle she could possibly do at every single joke, no matter how big or small the joke. It was, right behind me. I started dreading jokes in this movie just because I knew that she would laugh at me.
Yeah.
Horrid. Humor. But
pretty
I
good.
can say I enjoyed it, and it's not just because I really, really enjoy Brie Larson's work.
Okay.
This was a solid performance.
I mean, I was always planning on watching it, obviously for the reviews here, and because I know nothing about the comic, so I was okay going into it completely fresh.
Into it.
But your girlfriend's big into it, right, Klops?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna get filled into it anyway. What's different, and what's not. So at least I'll know.
I mean, but it just like all the Marvel movies, tons of shit's different, and they've justified that. They say it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I know she takes that into consideration too. Like she knows that, right? But I'm still gonna hear like what the difference is and things. And,
sure.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
So I'm definitely I'm gonna go watch it and definitely give it a chance. But I just wish people would shut the fuck up about this stuff ahead of time. Like the mock outrage that happens on one side and the other, just it doesn't fucking help anything, right? Like
if you don't like something, just don't support it and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make these fucking things a beacon for your hopes and dreams and political stances. Just fucking take it as a superhero movie.
Especially when the shit ain't even out yet. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. But no, I'm
hate
gonna go
the movie
watch it.
because it's poorly constructed, poorly acted, or you just don't like it. Don't hate it because the actors who are in it talk about things that they're into.
Yeah,
it's not even that. There's some people that that I don't know. There was just like this YouTube channel, like my girlfriend stumbled upon on YouTube, and she showed it to me, and it was weird. It was this woman that was completely speaking against Captain Marvel movie, and it was like months before anything has come out, right? It was like since the trailer like first dropped or something like that, and she was just totally blowing out of the water about like how it's shitty and like how there's all these other characters with an interesting backstory in order that we've invested in. That's why nobody wants a Captain Marvel movie and stuff. And like there was just so many comments praising this person on YouTube about it, and I was just like that. Just a shitty opinion. Like
no.
There's no truth in it. So, no, there was no truth in it.
No,
like,
but I will agree that I think I would have preferred to see a Black Widow movie. Like,
but they're doing that. That's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening. I don't think that it's fair to say, oh man, there's so many more interesting characters out there. Like
that's just an opinion.
I mean, I could say the same thing about Captain America.
Yeah.
I never gave a shit about Captain America.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, just because it's not my hero doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve a movie.
Right. I mean, honestly, I called this years before Wonder Woman happened, and though I'm glad I saw Wonder Woman and I really enjoyed Wonder Woman, years and years and years ago, I told some guy online was being a dick about stuff, and I was like, look, a Wonder Woman movie like deserves to happen. Though I'm not personally interested in a Wonder Woman movie, it's not a character that I really give a shit about. I still think that that's a character who's big enough and beloved enough to deserve a movie. And of course, it goes like, that's the dumbest shit I fucking heard. Nah, internet. But that's people just put internet in all capital letters and exclamation points.
Well, and honestly,
it's the same. You know, I felt that way about Captain America. He's a big enough character to absolutely deserve a movie. Doesn't mean I have to give a shit, and it doesn't mean I'll love or hate the movie. A good movie can be a good movie. I don't know Captain Marvel. I really didn't give a shit, but the movie was good.
Captain America in the same boat as Superman, like not particularly interesting.
Right.
Like
it's just not. It's not a character I care about.
I liked not Civil War. What's the one before that? Winter Soldier. I thought it was done well. But yeah, I just in general, even in the comics, Captain America was never really interesting to me. So are there more quote unquote interesting characters? Sure.
Of course.
Were they taking a risk with Captain Marvel? I don't think so either. I don't think they were. I don't think it was a safe bet, but I think after Guardians, like it's hard for them to really take risks because huge risk paid off. Like you've set the bar, you know?
Yeah.
Because nobody knew anything about Guardians. It was this weird mishmash of characters that are all referenced in different.
And honestly, for the most part, poorly selling characters. Like Rocket Raccoon was not popular. Even in the comics, before those movies.
And
His
not
comics never sold well.
and not do an origin. So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry about that. Wow. But yeah, so it was just they took a risk then. This one, it was a measured risk. But all right, cool. So give it a rating.
I definitely can't go 10 Flurgans out of 10. I can give it 7.5 to 8 Flurgans out of 10.
Okay. I don't know
A
what.
Flurgan's a thing. You'll get it.
Cool.
You'll get it.
Maybe. All
Is that
right.
like a
So
Smeeble?
Huh?
Is that like a Smeeble?
No. A Flurgan is most definitely a thing, and you will get it.
all right. So we're still talking about movies. I actually have seen this movie, Klops. Now that I
Have you?
now that I remember it. So tell us.
So good. I watched a movie called Mastermind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has Zach Galifianakis and a bunch of other people that were in the Ghostbusters movie remake that flopped so hard.
Yay!
Wait.
Yay!
Doesn't it just have one person from that?
No, it's got
movie?
like 3 of them.
Not as the main cast, though, right?
They have the one chick that is like
Kristen
the
Wiig.
romance,
Well,
The Roman-
there's Kristen Wiig. She very definitely
Right.
was in Ghostbusters.
right? And then there's the one that plays Zach Galifianakis' fiance.
Yeah.
was
Okay.
And then they have the FBI agent who's the angry black lady.
I guess I don't remember as much about
Okay,
this movie as I
so
thought.
Kristen Wiig is in it. Mary
Yep.
Elizabeth Ellis, who I believe, for some reason, like just her page doesn't want to load. Is she the one? No, she was not in it. I think you're thinking of a different blonde chick. She's
Right.
she's the one who's married to the fucking guy from It's Always Sunny in Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah. So
Oh!
she was.
It's his wife.
Yeah, she was not in Ghostbusters.
She was
Okay.
not in Ghostbusters.
2 out of 4, I guess. Whatever.
Oh wait, hold on. Unless you were talking about Kate McKinnon, who was in Ghostbusters. Sorry. Yeah. So there's 2. Kate McKinnon was in Mastermind. She was Jandis. I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's how the name Jandis is said because.
Yeah, and then there's the FBI agent, right?
Do you remember the name? I'm not seeing her, but it doesn't.
I
she's not.
don't remember. It was
I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna take your word for it and
There's
say
3
he's
of
dead
them.
on. Leslie Jones. She played Scanlin.
Yeah.
And yes, she was in Ghostbusters.
Oh,
so Klops
yeah.
wins this one.
Yep.
Klops, point to Klops. Klops, give yourself a gold
Yay.
star.
Cool.
Yay! My girlfriend was right.
Yeah.
Haha.
Wow.
But
I
anyway,
gotta say, just based on this picture and this cast, I'm not gonna enjoy this movie.
Yeah. No,
Actually,
it wasn't
was-
great.
I thought it was great. It was
No.
hilarious. Like, it's also based on a real event that happened, right?
That doesn't make it
not-
better.
No, I'm just saying that's part of it. I just felt that from start to finish in this movie, it was kind of this really fun, wild ride with this like almost awkward, used to be mild mannered character, right? Because Zach Galifianakis. And it just so many things that happened into it. Like he flees to South America. Spoilers alert! In case you don't want any spoilers.
Been out for a minute.
Oh, I
yeah.
my ears.
Yeah. He goes to South America, right? And he's living down there. And of course, they weren't ever going to send him any more money or anything. And they hire a hitman to go kill him. And like the hitman catches up with him and like looks at his name, and it's the same name as the hitman because the fake ID they made him and stuff were from the like hitman's ID and like birth certificate and stuff. So now he thinks it's this like long lost twin kind of thing, right? And like he just befriends this hitman. He's like, yeah, totally. This is my name. It's not a fake one. And they go off. He's like, I could never hurt you, brother. And like just goes off into this whole fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it is fucking terrible, dude.
And like, I thought it was hilarious.
I'm looking at pictures from the premiere, and Marilyn Manson is in like 50% of them, and I don't know why.
I don't either. I think it's one of those bad movies that leans into itself really well. Like they know what they were fucking doing. They're like, this is schlock. Let's just make it. And so therefore, I liked it more, right? You know what I mean? As opposed to like, this is schlock. Let's try to be serious, right? You know,
Right.
where I don't really like it as much. But because they leaned into it so fucking hard, I was like, this is just a masterpiece of a shitty movie. I love it.
So
Right?
All right.
I feel, and let me describe this to you, Devin, so you understand where I've landed. I feel like it was a SNL skit that didn't land. They're like, don't get me wrong, SNL style comedy is great, and there's some amazing things, but some of them just don't land and they're kind of forgettable. That's where I felt this hit. I mean,
all right, it works, I guess.
I mean,
It
it's
works
just
for
a
you.
different coin.
It works
Yeah,
for you.
yep.
yeah. For those of you that don't know the premise is basically a worker of this armored car service gets into this group that ends up wanting to rob this armored car service of all their money, and steals about 17 million back in 1997, which is a lot of bread back in 1997.
I mean,
Right.
it's still a lot of money.
And,
Now.
and almost gets away with it, right? Kind of thing. And it's I guess I will say the pacing at the beginning felt very fast, and then it kind of slowed down and became a thing, right? You know, like kind of found its pacing after the first 20 minutes or so. You know,
Yeah, I'd say the first act was definitely slow.
I don't think it. No, it was pretty. It was like 5 minutes in where we've established these two characters kind of a little bit, and now we're talking about a bank heist or armored car heist kind of thing. And I was like, that was fast. Like, there was no like, you know, subtlety to it or anything. It was like, what if we rob this place? Oh man, I never thought about that. You know. But anyway, I feel it's a fun movie. If you like kind of schlocky films that are just going to lean into themselves, and you like Zach Galifianakis as a comedian, you may like this movie. I like him in most of his comedy. Very rarely have I been like, that was just awful. But
Oh, I've said that a few times about his movies, so I don't know.
Actually, he's hit or miss. Like, the first Hangover was out of fucking nowhere, and I thought that was hilarious. I don't like that he's completely leaned into that character. I will say that that Due Date was way funnier than people give it credit for.
Oh,
But-
I hated it.
Man, I seem to think that was Robert Downey bringing that. No, dude, there's that one scene in where he punches the kid. Like, I referenced that scene over and over. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
no, I don't think I've seen Due Date, but that sounds amazing.
So let me describe the scene to you, because it envisions what I feel like a normal adult would want to do. So they go into this lady's house to buy weed, and she has two kids there, a little boy and a little girl. And the little boy, he's a little shit, and he's messing with him. And he's like, he starts grabbing the dude's tie and pulling it, and he's just like, stop that. Stop that. I'm an adult. You need to stop. And the kid doesn't. So what he does is he just kind of like gives him a quick jab to the stomach and grabs the kid and he goes, shh, you're okay. You're okay. And sits him down. And the little girl's just looking wide-eyed, and he just looks at her and he goes. And the mom comes back, and like the little kid's just like bowled over, and you know, they just move on with the scene. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, you should. I'm sure you could find that clip on YouTube, but that's great.
Yeah.
Out Cold I thought was great, but that's before he did this
I
character.
did like Out Cold.
Yeah, and Out Cold had some of those weird like early '90s, late '80s stars that I thought was.
It had one of the London twins, but I never remember which one it was.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. What other movies has he done? Like name a couple movies you like him in there, Klops.
Now that I'm on the spot, I guess Masterminds.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Klops, give Masterminds a ratings. We have other shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's where I was going before everything else. I'd give it a solid 6 armored car rating or armored car heist ratings out of 10. It's a good
All right.
film. Go for it.
Okay, so there is a bit of e-news that Bonsai wanted to talk about.
So this is a quick, So they've been talking about doing this for a while. I don't know which iteration of it this is. I heard it was going to be a kid's show. I heard it was going to be a TV show. I heard it was going to be a sequel. Time Bandits. They're going to make a Time Bandits TV show.
I thought you were talking about the Banana Splits one.
What?
Yeah, there's been a proposal for a Banana Splits horror show.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't
Yes!
even know what that
Yes!
is.
Yes.
It's a show from when like our parents were kids.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So no, this is Time Bandits, man. I love Time Bandits. It's my kind of weird. It doesn't bother explaining itself. It's just like, we're doing this, let's go, full tilt, and then it does. So they're going to make it into a show. Good news, bad news time. Bad news. It's being made by Apple.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Like the company Apple?
Yeah, they're trying to add custom content to their stream services.
Yep.
Oh, I was gonna say, so they're gonna charge me $100 per episode?
Probably.
So it's being made by Apple. Good news. It's being made by Taika Waititi. Written and directed. That's the guy who did Thor Ragnarok, Klops.
Okay.
And
doing
more
Time
importantly,
Bandits.
what we do
I
in the
don't
shadows.
know if that's gonna outweigh the bad though.
Yeah, it more just means that like I probably won't see it until somebody releases a DVD or like has it and I can watch it at their place.
Yeah, I was about to say, especially if it's exclusive to their stream service, I will probably never watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't either.
Yay! We're reviewing a thing we will never touch.
We're not reviewing it. That's my
Previewing,
news though.
sorry.
Taika Waititi just got announced as the writer-director for Apple's Time Bandits. So there you go.
Okay. All right. We still got a couple minutes. You wanna talk about some comics?
Comics!
Are weird.
I thought we were gonna talk about FML.
Eduardo doesn't want to because he fucked up. We'll get there.
Yeah, it's fine.
I have a pretty quick comic review because the series is way longer than I am into it. We got into this one pretty late, but I did want to talk about it because it's my favorite kind of comic that I know excites Eduardo so much. He loves them. Slice of life comics, man.
Okay.
I'm so about it. Okay,
Yeah,
So-
I don't think Eduardo or I either like that kind of comic.
this is different than my normal slice of life stuff, though. This is not about depressed girls in high school.
It's gonna be like a depressed teen.
They're in college.
They're not depressed either. This is about peppy young ladies making their way through college.
That just sounds like the theme for a prawn.
Okay, so legitimately, this is an Eisner winning comic. So Eisner is the big comic book awards. It's basically like the Oscars of comic books, and they're awarded at San Diego Comic-Con every year. The series got best running series at the Eisners. It is very well written, it is very smart, and it's a lot of fun. Apparently, my theme of today, the characters all seem very likable and very honest. Like any good comic should be, it's almost like they have no filter in their heads. So whatever weird thing pops in their head is what they say out loud. But it's hard to carry a comic without kind of a device like that. And it really works. They, assuming you apply the filter to your own life, they feel like me and my friends and the kind of weird dopey shit we do and the shit we think about and the shenanigans we get ourselves in. What happens when, that friend of yours from high school who always brings you out to drink too much rolls into town? How the fuck does that affect you? Or, completely putting off and ignoring that you have a test only to panic, throw yourself into a life of praying to God and wishing for things better, and then finding out that test actually didn't matter too much on your grade and just going back to what you were doing anyways. Or, in other words, getting deeply into something because you're worried and then giving up on it the very second you find out it's not as big of a deal as you thought it was. The comic feels very honest. It's well animated. It's well written. It's really well done. And one of the things I'm loving is at first, the comic really seemed like it was just about the three main girls. And I'm only in the second volume of it. And it's already spinning off into being just as much about the side characters. The guys that they hang out with or their boyfriends or, whatever the relationship is to these, to the other characters, they're already becoming pretty main characters. They're just as involved. It's nice. It really feels like an ensemble cast Friends kind of thing, but captured in a comic book with some weird adjectives used because it's British.
Yeah.
It's really solid. It's actually something my wife found. She ended up getting a free copy of the first volume for buying something else through Amazon. So she tried it out and she liked it enough. She bought the first 3 volumes and the 9th volume because it was on sale at a con and you got to swoop this shit up while it's cheap.
Yeah, and honestly, like, more power to folks who like slice of life. Like I've tried it. You know I have.
Oh yeah.
And it just doesn't. The reason it doesn't work for me is because what I look for in comics is kind of the same thing that I look for in my TV. I want something extraordinary. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's escapism, right?
And honestly, it's the same with like superhero comics don't work for everybody. Just like horror comics don't work for everybody, and sci-fi comics don't work for everybody. Slice of life is not something for everybody.
And to be fair, I've tried to go back now that I've gotten really into, and this isn't because they're better. It's just they're different. In the indie comic stuff, I've tried to go back and read mainstream Marvel or mainstream DC, and it just doesn't do it for me unless it's a very specific storyline.
I have my select titles and my select storylines that I read, and then other than that, like I'm just super over it.
Yeah,
most of my collection is indie at this point. The majority of it by a large amount.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is. I feel like for me, Marvel and DC were kind of gateway comics. They got me into the genre, and then it wasn't even that it was a retread. It's just they just go wacky after a while. If you miss any run of it,
you're fucked.
You're just done.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So
do a real quick FML.
Sure. Let's talk about how bad I fucked up last week and how
Tell
FML
them what you did.
Yeah. So apparently I didn't set my FML. I was too busy not setting my FML.
I haven't looked at it.
I seriously I $0 because sometimes it decides to pre-populate what you put last week, sometimes it doesn't, and I don't know. Either way, looks like
me and Klopp's tied, but in a weird way. Basically, we got first place and second place, but in different leagues.
Yeah, so check this out. So for the Metagame Network League, Klopp's came out ahead with Marvel and Lego Movie actually.
Yeah.
And then in the MGN year, actually no, he got you on all of them, man.
Oh, did he finally beat me in the second one? It was 1 and 2 every time I checked.
No, he got you.
He might have taken me on Sunday.
Yeah, he got you. Done. Not by much. So, not bad.
Yay!
And everybody knows. Yeah, I done fucked up. It was a weird week last week. There was a lot of alcohol involved. But yeah, so
invite me. Dang it.
No, you wouldn't have come, and basically it was a work sort of thing. Yeah, but whole bottle of Captain Morgan. Woo! That's actually not a good thing.
Nope.
Probably a really bad thing. To be fair though, I tried to go for the girly drink, but the liquor store that the Uber stopped at only had they didn't have Malibu. The best rum they had was Captain Morgan. So, but yeah. So yay! All right, that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for joining us, folks that were live. You can find us on YouTube under In5D Podcasts, and you can also find us on iTunes. Check us out Tuesday nights, 7 to 9 for the Carpenter game, live action RPG with setting of World of Darkness. Final words, Klops.
I think Captain Marvel is going to be okay. You don't know how hard it was for me to say YouTubes.
That's fair.
YouTube.
Devin, final words.
I think it's adorable that Eduardo thinks there's a winner between Captain Morgan and Malibu. They both suck. They're both not that great.
Actually, to be fair, one of them tastes like rum, the other one tastes like candy. So, which one do you think I would go for?
Candy?
Yeah, exactly. Candy.
It tastes like coconuts. It's not candy-like at all.
I like coconut.
Yeah.
It's not candy-like.
Yeah, it is. It's sweet, dude.
Yeah, it's syrupy.
Okay, Almond Joy is barely a candy. Get out.
But it brings you such joy.
Not me. It brings me hatred and horror.
Yeah, I like that your final words are hatred and horrors.
Last bit of e-news, Jaguar attacks woman who crosses barrier at zoo. That's what you get for crossing the barrier at a zoo.
Yeah, no, she's come back and apologized. Like, everybody expected her to come back and sue. No, she came back and apologized. Said, sorry, this is giving the zoo a lot of really bad publicity. It was my bad. And you know why she crossed it? For a picture.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, Bye.
See ya.